What's your rating system when you're rating books? Do you have something that you have written down?
So this is how I rate books. 1 star, I can't rate the book a 0 star. Plot means nothing. Characters are forced together. Characters are flighty. Characters just say words, but they don't mean them, and there is no intention to them. And then just the book is insufferable. So, like, let's say the character is saying something, and they're like, "This is what I stand for," and then their actions go against what they actually say. The characters are very wishy-washy. They're like, "I should be doing this, but I'm not gonna do it. I should be doing this, but I'm not gonna do it." Like characters that are supposed to be in like romantic relationships are just forced together and there's like no chemistry at all. Plot means nothing. Like the plot just literally fucking like there could be no plot in a 5 star book, but just everything else saves it. But this is like the plot means absolutely nothing. Like it doesn't make sense, it doesn't work, these characters don't work, just nothing works. So that's why I rarely give a 1 star. The only 1 star review that I've given to was last year, and that was The Last Girl Standing, because the end was terrible and the whole book just didn't fucking make sense. And then you also have like a gaslighting therapist that shouldn't even be a therapist. The whole mental health stuff in that book was just not researched enough. 2 star rating, characters are terrible. They only use their character flaws to further the plot unreasonably. Plot is used as a suggestion. Book really doesn't catch my attention at any point. I'm just trying to finish it to review it. So, the characters are terrible. They only do use their character flaws to further the plot unreasonably. So, like, they just do stupid things to further the plot. There was one Netflix show where this girl's like, "I don't deserve this sword." So then she throws it into a chasm. And then she's like, "Wait, I probably shouldn't have thrown it into that chasm. Now I have to go get it." So somebody else goes and retrieves it for her. And then, like, they end up getting hurt because of her stupid decision. So that's what I'm meaning. I mean, two can easily end up turning into a one, depending on how stupid the character decisions are. Plot is used as a suggestion. Again, there's kind of a plot. I mean, it's kind of there. It's more there than 1 star. Like the plot kind of fits in better with the characters and the storyline, but it's taking too long. There's it's taking too long to get there. There's a lot of filler. There's too much filler for me to actually care about any of the characters, about the plot. Like at this point, I'm just kind of disassociating. I'm just listening to listen. Uh, Book doesn't really catch my attention at any point. I'm just trying to finish it to review it. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's how 2 stars are. 3 stars, almost no character development. Characters do stuff against their character or to further the plot. Certain sections were intriguing, but for the most part, the book needed extra time and work, or alternative plots were extended and the story could have been condensed by a lot. Scenes that extend the plot and don't world build or build characters, relationships need to be cut. I just don't know how to speak. Well, call me Feyre. Yeah, so there's almost no character development. Like the characters aren't really moving forward, but stuff is happening in the plot. Characters do stuff against their character or to further the plot. Like they just make unreasonable decisions, and it's okay for characters to make unreasonable decisions against their character development, but there are some that it doesn't fucking make sense. Like why would you go against what your character is saying and then 2 seconds later regret it and then go back to it? Like, kind of the wishy washy thing that I'm talking about, where it's just like the characters don't really know where they are and they're just doing stuff to further the plot, and it doesn't make sense. Certain sections were intriguing, but for the most part, the book needed extra time and work, and or alternative plots were extended and the story could have been condensed by a lot. Yeah, so this has been happening to me a lot lately where I'm picking up books and I'm just like, this could have been condensed. This could have been edited. This could have been like, there's a lot of scenes that could have been taken out, or there's a lot of scenes that could replace this, or a lot of side character stories that could get introduced into this. The scenes that extend the plot, don't world build or build character relationships need to be cut. What I'm saying there is like there are a lot of scenes that are just filler, and this book could have been perfect if it had used a little bit more editing. It would have been there, or it would have been a 4 star, or it would have been close to a 5 star, but it felt like everybody was being a yes person and nobody was really being like, hey, how about we fix that? 4 star, the story kept me reading. The story felt rushed, missing certain scenes. Character arcs are rushed or lost throughout the novel. Story either needs more page count or to be slightly condensed. And this sounds harsher than what it is saying, but basically, like 4 star, there's not as many bullet points, but it's like the story kept me reading, kept my attention the whole time. Story felt a little rushed or missing certain scenes. Like it was almost there. It was really gonna be a 5, but there was only a few things where I was like, no, this isn't a 5. This is like a 4. This is a vibing story. Like this is a, it's okay. It wasn't bad. You know what I mean? Missing certain scenes, like there was a lot that could have been explored, a lot more that could have been explored. And you know, the author can write this really well, and they probably could have done a little bit more in the book. Certain our character arcs are rushed or lost throughout the novel. Like there are certain inconsistencies, but not too glaring, like 3 stars, 2 stars, and 1 stars. Story either needs more page count or to be slightly condensed. Like it just needs a little bit more pages, like either 100 or 200 more pages, and it would have gotten to where it needed to go, or it just needed to be cut by a little. Like there are certain books where it's just like, oh, I think you could cut like 100 pages and it would have been the same story. And 5 stars is like efficient storytelling, something that keeps me reading and makes me forget I'm reading, character arcs fully fleshed out. And then there are a few things that I want to add to this. I wrote this like a month or two ago, and I meant to post this video, and her video reminded me that I needed to post this video. But it's just an overall story that meets the promise on the back cover. And there are some books that I don't necessarily 100% like, but they meet everything the back cover said. They meet all the character development. The character choices might have been questionable, but I consider it a 5 star because that was the promise on the back cover. Every time I pick up a book, it's because of the promise of the back cover. And yes, I hope I like it too, but it's like the promise of the back cover is, hey, here's this idea. I want you to read it. And then if you open the book, that's where your 5 star expectations really come in, where it's like, okay, yeah, this was a 5 star. This really filled out all my expectations. So the way that I do 5 stars are in 2 lanes. So it's like the promise of the back cover or just like vibes. If I'm just vibing and I can read this story within 2, 3 days, maybe even a day if I'm feeling overly ambitious, then that was a 5 star read because it kept my attention. It was good. Like, I don't really have to worry about anything. When you're reading a 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, or 1 star book, sometimes it just feels like you're compensating for a lot of work that wasn't done. Like, or it just, those books just feel like a lot of work, additional work. I'm not saying it's bad to have a 4 or 3 star book, but anything below, it's like, oh, that was exhausting. That was a lot of work. Like it didn't flow properly. The pacing wasn't there. Like it just kind of dragged. Like I felt like I just went to work and didn't get paid for it. And I am never reading just to be harsh. I'm never reading just to be a dick. I'm never reading just to hate read. I would never hate read a fucking book. Even the book that I recently read that I was like, oh, I hope this one is better than the first two. I didn't hate read that. I read that with an expectation that I hope that it gets better. I hope that this is gonna finally be the one. Because think about it as like the Thor Ragnarok. Like I love Thor Ragnarok, but the first and second Thor weren't it for me. So usually I give authors extra time to redeem themselves, but lately it's been rough. But yeah, that's my rating system. Have a good day, guys.